Our next three speakers know our minister and his ministry well, and will briefly address the three roles of the minister: priest, prophet, and pastor. The Reverend Dan King is known to many of you because he was once upon a time a member of this congregation and is our only member to have become a minister. He has served as the director of the UU Mountain Retreat Center, the pastor of the UU congregation in Augusta, and at the UUA National Office in Boston. And he is currently the minister of the First Parish Church in Kingston, Massachusetts. He is also our minister's mentor minister while he is in preliminary fellowship. The Honorable Gilda Cobb-Hunter has served in the South Carolina House of Representatives for the past 20 years, where she has been an unfailing voice for conscience, comforting the afflicted and afflicting the comfortable. At one time, our minister had hopes of joining her in bending the arc of justice a little more towards our South Carolina State House. Representative Cobb-Hunter is a member of the National Association of Social Workers, the ACLU, the NAACP, and the Democratic National Committee. Mike Padgett is the manager of our UU Coffee House and a former president of our congregation, whose favorite saying is, "It takes a lot of paddles to row the boat." Whether serving in an official capacity or not, Mike is a natural leader of our congregation, envisioning how we can be better than we are, persistently nudging us to do what we say we intend to do, and standing at the back of the boat, shouting, "Stroke, stroke, stroke." Reverend King.
Thank you, Barry. I will not take an extended time since I already had 22 and a half minutes this morning out of my 20 allotted minutes. I want to thank Neal for the honor and privilege to be with you today in these multiple capacities. I want to mention that the last time I stood before this congregation in a robe and a stole was on June 1st of 1997 when you ordained me. And this stole was given to me by our good friend Velma Smith, who I think picked it up in Guatemala on one of her missionary trips when she was out doing good in the world, the late Velma Smith. And I want to talk to you a little bit about this role, among these roles of minister. Neal has chosen only 3 of what I have found to be an infinite number of roles. And I would like to draw your attention to words written by a very respected colleague of ours, Gordon McKeeman, a great Universalist. He said, "Ministry is a quality of relationship between and among human beings that beckons forth hidden possibilities, inviting people into deeper, more constant, more reverent relationship with the world and with one another, carrying forward a long heritage of hope and liberation that has dignified and informed the human venture over many centuries, being present with, to, and for others in their terrors and torments, in their grief, misery, and pain, knowing that those feelings are our feelings too, celebrating the triumphs of the human spirit in the miracles of birth and life, the wonders of devotion and sacrifice, witnessing to life-enhancing values, speaking truth to power, standing for human dignity and equity, for compassion and aspiration, believing in life in the presence of death, struggling for human responsibility against principalities and structures that ignore humanness and become instruments of death. In all these and much, much more than all of them, present in the wordless, the unspoken, the ineffable, it is speaking and living the highest we know, and living with the knowledge that it is never as deep or as wide or as high as we would wish. Whenever there is a meeting that summons us to our better selves, wherever our lostness is found, our fragments are united, or our wounds begin healing, our spines stiffen and our muscles grow strong for the task, and there is ministry. I would say, when selecting among the many roles of a fully engaged minister with the congregation, the priestly function is about being present at the rites of passage, at birth, at weddings, perhaps even at divorces, also for the time of death and passing, and especially at the time of welcoming a child into the world, in the act of what we call the child dedication, what many in our Christian context often call baptism, the blessing of the child, the recognition that a new life has joined us. And it is these ineffable moments that are so full of meaning and substance and affirmation of life itself that the priestly function is most strongly needed. In a secondary way, the priestly function, in my estimation, is about bringing forth and teaching and reminding of tradition. Today is, in effect, a priestly function for the congregation as a whole, to become aware of their authority and their responsibility to be in relationship with one whom they have selected in our congregational polity as Unitarian Universalists, and understanding that that is a mutual responsibility. The priest is only empowered to the extent that the congregation recognizes and grants the authority to be among them at these holy moments. Today, you bless Neal, you bless yourselves, and you allow him to bless you. Blessed be. Amen.